Hello, intrepid viewers and trendsetters everywhere who've arrived at this channel. I'm Lena, Doctor of Sociology, political commentator, and tarot card reader. So this week has been very strange. There's been this series of half-assed rulings from judges in so many cases. It's really weird. So Fani dodged a bullet in Georgia, but Judge McAfee did say the odour of mendacity, which is a poetic and exaggerated way of saying he didn't really believe Fani or the boyfriend. Right. So it's left a bit of a taste in the mouth, but that was one. And then Aileen Cannon didn't actually give Trump's team everything they wanted by dismissing some charges, but left the door open just to make it really torturous for Jack Smith down the road, because it could be a double jeopardy situation, you know. And then a month's delay on the Stormy Daniels case. You know, so I want to take a look at the morale in the DOJ generically, because at the end of the day, this falls in the lap of Merrick Garland. I know he's not responsible for every state jurisdiction and everything else, but if you think back, I digress. I haven't even started. I digress. Think about 9/11. It was so shocking. And within a week, 2 weeks, within a month, hundreds of rules were introduced, making it stricter and harder to move around, do anything, rules that impacted on other countries. It was done like that. But Merrick Garland has just been snoozing on the job. I'm sorry. I've tried to support him for 4 years, but really, I think he should resign in shame or be sacked in disgrace. Just not strong enough for these times. I don't think he's evil. I don't think he's being paid by the other side. He's just simply not up to these times. So let's have a look at the morale in the DOJ generally. Must be so frustrating. It's frustrating for us watching it, let alone imagine if you did all that work. It'd be like working for the Mueller investigation and then have it destroyed in 10 minutes by that poxy Bill Barr. Oh, let's have a look. DOJ. DOJ. It's a mix, real mix of moving forward and holding back. That's exactly what it feels like, isn't it? You know, after waiting years. So the first card is the Queen of Wands. I think this represents Garland, because we mustn't get hung up on gender with these court cards. So this is someone who's strong-willed. He doesn't come across, because he's not a loud guy, but you don't get to where he's got legally without having conviction and some strength of purpose. I think he started with this strength of purpose, but events happened so quickly that were out of his control. I think he lost faith. With this Five of Pentacles, these are people who are so ground down, they can't see the light in the window. And we're talking about the DOJ staff generally. And I think they were going, yes, we've come in under a fresh AG. We're going to get things done. We've got all this stuff to deal with. And now they're feeling out in the cold. I think they're feeling embarrassed and humiliated and ground down. Then I think they're holding on to what they can hold on to. It's like what's left of these cases after they're butchered by the media, by circumstance, by actual money. these cases are being sort of sabotaged bit by bit. So they're feeling they're not part of the solution that they should be, but they haven't given up. I'm so pleased this was their outcome card. I think because it is an election year, these men and women would have been working behind the scenes for years on these cases. Now they can almost see the end game. Either it has to happen or they're going to look for jobs in other countries. I mean, they'd be looking at Canada and Mexico. But I seriously think this is them, this last run to the finish line, meaning now to November. It puts the wind back in their sails. I'm pleased. Look at the difference, right? They've been feeling like this, and now I think they're geeing each other up. That is a good thing. All right. Now, Putin, amazing as this may seem, has won the election by approximately 90% of the vote. It'll end up between 87% and 90%. Who gets 90% of the vote? Yeah, just ridiculous. All right, now we've got a couple of juicy things. But first, I want to get on to TikTok. This is quite big. The whole thing, TikTok's parent company belongs to China. And so now it depends which hemisphere you're in. It's like, who are the goodies, who are the baddies? And because China is demonized, it's like shock horreur. You know, China is harvesting data from TikTok, as if America and Australia and English companies and everyone else doesn't harvest data. They're multinational companies, pet. Shall we just stop pretending it's Get Smart and there's these goodies and baddies on either side of the road? It's ridiculous. However, Congress, the Valley of Hyenas, has just passed a thing forcing a sale of TikTok. It's outrageous. Imagine if China or Russia was saying, we insist that some large American company must be sold in 3 months. What? Anyway, it's going to the Senate. And the deal is they're going to vote on whether there should be a forced sale of TikTok within 165 days or the app will be banned in the US. Really? You think you're going to keep the under 30s away from a little app? Oh, bless. But let's see what the Senate will say. TikTok's had a hammering. Oh, and a victory. Interesting. Look, not sure how to interpret this. Well, by and large, I'll let you know my points of view and you can wade in the comments. You know, I think this is TikTok being hammered from all sides, you know, evil TikTok, evil TikTok. Now, broken hearts. Is this the broken heart of TikTok because they get ruled against, or is it the broken hearts of the consumers of TikTok, who's just about everybody? I'm probably one of 3 people who aren't on TikTok, you know, like, really? But here's the victory card. So after the threat and the heartache, do they have victory? Or is it a victory for the establishment, i.e. the Senate? You see the halls of Congress behind in the Hierophant card. Yeah, I think it might be a victory in the Senate for nailing TikTok. And the Emperor will wade in. Whatever everyone else wants, the Yeti will come in and he'll make up his mind. I've forgotten where we are. It's Monday here in Australia. He hated TikTok, then he loved TikTok, then he hated TikTok. But he's going to waffle. Waffle big time. Speaking of waffling, oh my God. Now, for the last 3 years, you go online, and if you look at things that we do as viewers of this channel, you often see headlines saying, Trump has meltdown at rally, Trump's totally unhinged at something or other. These words have been used constantly. However, Ohio recently was a doozy, and I made myself watch it. I've avoided the voice of the Yeti, the bellow of the wild, for probably a couple of years, but I made myself watch it, and I was glad I did, because I thought, this is the worst drunk uncle at Thanksgiving. This is truly, it was so excruciating. It was so bad. So I'm going to ask, will there be an intervention before November? Because he's really going downhill fast. Will there be an intervention? I mean, a medical intervention. Will there be? Or are they so intimidated by him, so desperate to ally with him, they'll let anything go? Will there be an intervention with Trump? And bear in mind, I've always thought he will never see the inside of a jail cell, but I have thought facility. Okay, so let's have a look. Will there be an intervention? Oh, that'd be bliss if it didn't even get to the election. Oh, tower. Tower, 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 tower. Well, I think he is going to have a public collapse. I actually think so. It might start slowly with just being ushered off the stage 10 minutes before he was due to finish. It might be a soft crash, or it could be, him staring into the lights and literally displaced. Trump Tower on the skids. With the other cards here, in a way, there's parent energy here. For better or for worse, he's the father of MAGA. And they're going to have to put the lid back on the cup and actually ignore things that they have not bothered to ignore before. He used to give them some degree of excitement and energy, and we're the baddest and we can do this. But no one wants to be allied with the punch-drunk boxer that is 3 bouts since he should have been retired. You know what I mean? This is going to be very hard for them emotionally. It's going to be quite quick. The money is going to fall away. The donors are going, no, just no. And someone will have to come in and speak. Okay, so they've got no shortage of ambitious nobodies in the GOP. I think this will be an ambitious creature that will come in and have to cobble together. I don't think he's going to get to November. Now, we've got the missing women, of course. I'm actually not going to read on them all today, or, Melania, Ivanka, Kate Middleton. But it is a curious phenomenon. There seems to be this Bermuda Triangle swallowing up wealthy, powerful women. All right, now, okay, this was a question from a viewer in the UK. So she said, Bernie Sanders has identified 20 serving members of Congress invested in weapons manufacture, and they were mainly Raytheon and Lockheed Martin. She said in the UK, the news is 5 of their biggest banks, including Barclays, Lloyds of London, NatWest, these are big names if you live in the UK, and Citigroup, which is world. funding cluster munitions, they're very ugly weapons, nuclear weapons, and sending arms to Yemen. So Bernie in the US, also the UK, elected representatives and banks supplying arms everywhere. This is not news. I can remember protesting against this in 1974 or something. It's only taken 45 years for the world to go, oh, is that still happening? Oh, that's not good. But let's have a look. Will there be any tightening up of the rules around this? Tightening up of the rules. Tightening up of the rules around arms. People are happy to make money from anything. It's obscene. So let's have a look. We're talking generically. Will it become a thing, or do people not care? All right. Tightening up of the rules. Well, not just yet. Ping page. Lots of money. I wonder why that is. This is a moral issue. Why are the cards all pentacles? You know? Anyway, things are sitting pretty now and staying the same. The Fool. There's going to be impetus to do things differently. Actually introduce a more moral climate, but it's sure not soon. No one seems to know how to do it. No one's prepared to bite the bullet and do it. So it's going to stay in the nether regions. King of Pentacles has a lot of money. You could argue too much money. He's not going to shift ground. But this gives me a bit of hope. And this could be talking 2 years from now, right? But the Page of Pentacles brings a message about money, and it's about the green economy and all of that thing. I think if we're going to survive as a species going forward, we have to transition to the green economy. And the message here is making it as economically attractive as the ugly stuff is. So while they can make more from coal than they can from solar panels, they'll go with coal. Make it the other way around because of responsible leadership and real targets. You shift the economic balance so they're chasing the green dollar. I think this is a word to all of us. You know, it's not until the green economy moves from being an idealized thing, wouldn't it be good if, to the hard economics of it and making it happen, then they'll all want to be on board. Right? But look, before I go today, another question from a viewer. Will there be a big voter turnout in November? Because she's worried. There was a good turnout by American standards for the last election, but she's worried people are, as we talk about, exhausted or paralyzed or so disenchanted or she's worried. So her question is, will there be a big turnout at the end of 2024? And that got me looking up some stats. So although the turnout in 2020 was higher than previously, America only ranks 31st in the world of democratic countries for participation. 31st. You sit between Colombia and Greece. Right? Now that leaves, as you all know, or may not know if you're a new viewer, I'm a big supporter of RuPaul's Drag Race. It's not just about the taffeta and sequins. It is about people's stories. And also every show ends with signs saying register to vote, or in the parlance, sissy that vote. So his figures were saying up to 60 million eligible Americans are no vote. Up to 60 million. Biden only won by 7 million. Can you imagine getting half of those? 30 million extra votes. How amazing would that be? So I think what's really important in all that, stick with me for this digression. Most of you would know people who don't vote, and they'd have different reasons, but it falls into several main camps. One is just slackness, just people can't be bothered, take it for granted, someone else will do it. But there's others, I think, and Johnny was mentioning this on a collaboration recently. People he's talking to are saying, look, my life wasn't any different under Bush. It didn't get better under Clinton or Obama or Trump or Biden. They're just, well, my message there would be, maybe it didn't get any better, but it can get worse. Right? That's one thing I can promise you. So I think you have to find different approaches for different people. Like you might be able to guilt trip some people and say, look at the people who went to the front lines so you could vote. People who were beaten badly by police, mauled by dogs, extrajudicial killings so you could vote. Make an effort. You know. Other people need a bit of hand-holding. They may have voted before but have just stopped. They need the conversation. Do you see what I'm saying? Like different people need different carrots and sticks. But to try and target one or even more people in your extended world and offer to help them register if their registration hasn't been done, or make sure they're up to date, have the information at your fingertips for them, and double your vote. Please, sissy that vote. Okay, we'll be talking more about this in coming months. But for now, oh, I forgot, sorry, Adam. I just did a new collaboration with a young astrologer, Adam Stargaze Astrology, so you can check that out when it goes up on his channel. Okay, best of.